Good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to our Base Marketplace Spotlight webinar. We'll just wait for the post-lunch stragglers to join. Great, I think we've got a few more there on the attendee list, so thank you for joining. Welcome to all again, thanks for joining the Base.com Marketplace Spotlight webinar. My name is Pete Dupont and I look after the UK partnerships here at Base. We host these monthly webinars to help showcase the key marketplaces that form part of our strategic partnership ecosystem and help to give you guys some insights and tips on how to get the best out of them. Today, I'm really pleased to welcome Tireni Ladega, who's Business Development Manager at B&Q Marketplace. Hi there, Tireni. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Hi, Pete. Yeah, very good. Thanks for having me on. Very excited for the webinar today.
Our pleasure. Thanks for coming. Do you want to give us a quick intro about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Tireni. So I've been at B&Q for just over 3.5 years now. So I was actually here just for the start of the launch of the marketplace. So I've been pretty much one of the second employee. So seeing the evolution of how we started from around like 4 sellers to being a very small part of the business to today where I'll say a bit more later on, but a really big part of the e-commerce part of the business as well. So it's really exciting to see what more we can share with you as well.
Nice. So you've seen a lot of change, Tireni, which hopefully we'll uncover as we go shortly.
A lot of change and a few more grey hairs now. So yeah.
I can't see any nonsense. Thank you, Tireni. And I'd also like to welcome Mark Taylor, who's one of our business development managers for the UK and Ireland. And good to have you here, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Do you want to give us a quick intro about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been at Base for a year now, and I help to bring on new customers in the UK and Ireland, and then once they're on board into Base, help them to grow their business with other great marketplaces like B&Q, and then make that process of listing and managing orders more efficient by using Base.
Amazing. Well, thanks for joining. Today we'll run through sort of 5 principal areas of what we want to talk about. There'll be a brief introduction of Base for those who are less familiar. We'll talk a little bit about the UK marketplace as an ecosystem and B&Q, how it sort of fits within that. We'll hear from Tireni about the insights as B&Q as a platform. We'll then also understand how B&Q and Base fit together, how it all works, the benefits and how you should use it. And at the end, we'll have some questions if we have time. If you'd like to ask any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free and we'll share those at the end. So again, a little bit about Base, who perhaps, again, are less familiar with the platform. Base is an end-to-end multi-channel management platform that helps e-commerce sellers better sort of manage, coordinate and scale across their online channels. Since 2006, when we first launched in Poland, we've grown enormously across different territories. And now we've got over 30,000 users across the world with some exciting expansion plans for this year, potentially launching deeper into Europe and across the world. Base is very much a multifunctional platform, which brings together different components within the e-commerce operational flow, particularly consolidating all your sales channels under one roof, including your marketplaces, D2C and social commerce. But from a functionality perspective, it stores your product data for your listings. It manages your inventory and pricing across your sales channels and creates those listings onto those marketplaces that you want to join, such as B&Q. It brings all those orders back into Base to be fulfilled and dispatched in numerous ways, depending on the rules and automations that you set personally for your business. So we'll go through some of these in a bit more detail, particularly in relation to B&Q and a bit later on. Just from a pricing perspective, I'll let you know that also it's a dynamic pricing. There's no fixed contracts or fixed volumes to hit. It's very much a pay-as-you-go basis. I will paste the link in the chat shortly. You can learn a bit more about us. I suppose from a UK context primarily today, but of course we can talk about how B&Q is opening doors beyond the UK. Tireni, B&Q is best known as sort of this brick and mortar retailer that still sort of very much dominates the DIY and home improvement sector. I believe there are over 300 physical stores in the UK and Ireland still. But now, of course, it's also this marketplace. And it finds itself in this sort of very multi-channeled landscape alongside other marketplace players that have quite a broad category in the offering. I suppose we'll hear about the verticals later on, Tireni, but with this sort of marketplace perspective in mind, where do you see B&Q in this mix? And I suppose what does a typical B&Q marketplace seller look like to you?
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, so for us, we see the marketplace as an extension to our business, not a competition. So we see the marketplace working as a way of driving additional traffic and like footfall to our stores, which we are seeing now. So customers like the option to be able to obviously buy online and also to collect in store. So for us, the physical stores play a key part in our overall strategy as well. So as we've seen such considerable growth over the last 3 years, we're looking to really continue seeing more of that growth by increasing the marketplace number of sellers, relevant sellers, and more relevant SKUs as well. So that's why we're really keen to focus more quality businesses coming on the marketplace as well.
Terrific. And with those sellers coming on board, what are the main challenges that you see in them wanting to join? Is it a compliance problem? Is it logistics? Is it data? What are the main blockers that you come across?
Yeah, typically the main ones are over like data and logistics. So we have on our website, we have certain parameters that sellers need to fill in to ensure that their products appear in the correct search filters. So for us, managing the product data and uploading it to a website is really important. That's why I recommend partnering with companies like Base, because they've done it before. They can manage the integration, and obviously it's a popular solution amongst sellers. Another one is also in terms of logistics. The B&Q, as we're such a well-known brand in the UK, for us, maintaining our brand awareness and obviously that brand reputation is really important, which is why if you say a product is going to be delivered within 2 days, it's got to arrive in those 2 days, and also got to arrive in a good condition. So for us, it's really important that anyone we do on board can meet our high standards that customers come to know and expect of B&Q. So warehouse management, logistics, and product data for us is extremely important in selling well on the marketplace.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. And I suppose, Mark, from your perspective, you probably echo that in terms of new sellers joining new marketplaces.
Yeah, definitely. Tireni's point around data is key, as I said at a few of these webinars. And I think once you have that data in place, then Base makes getting products onto places like B&Q, and then also managing those orders through the automations that Base offer help to sort of deliver within those SLAs that B&Q require. Yeah, so definitely agree.
Great. And I suppose that sort of, again, that data issue of how we get things onto B&Q is something that Base can help with. But Tireni, I suppose now would be great to learn more about B&Q as that platform, and again, how this marketplace stands out over others. So if I share the stage with you, the floor is yours.
Perfect, Pete. Thank you very much. Cool. Before we start, just going to give you a couple of an overview of what we're going to discuss today. It's a bit about obviously B&Q, how the marketplace works, some of the benefits you may receive by joining, and if you're interested in joining, what the next steps are to join the B&Q marketplace. Okay, cool. So B&Q is essentially the biggest home improvement retailer in the UK. We've been running for over 55 years, and obviously our website DIY.com gets over 320 million visits per year, and it's also a part of Kingfisher. So Kingfisher is our parent company. So we own companies like Screwfix, B&Q, Brico Dépôt, and Castorama in Poland and France. And then obviously, so by joining the B&Q marketplace, you can also get access to some of the other banners within the group as well. So B&Q has over 300 stores in the UK, and we have done just shy of 4 billion in the previous financial year and have over 92% brand awareness. So obviously, we're one of the main players in the DIY space in the UK, and the marketplace has now become a key part of that journey as well. So I want to give you a bit of history in terms of the marketplace and where we've come from in March 2022 to where we are to today and what our plans are for the future. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we launched the marketplace in March 2022 with just 10 sellers matches live and 4 categories open. However, year after year, we've seen exponential growth with us adding in more teams of account managers, sales teams, and marketing people as well, and seeing the sales have grown significantly in that period of time. So going from a very small part of business in 2022 to making over 25% of our online sales within March 2023 to over 38% in March 2024, and that's grown over again to over 40% in 2025 as well. So as we've seen the growth of the marketplace, the company is investing more in more tools and more features. So we launched our sponsored products tool last year, promotions and more growth tools, and we're going to be investing more heavily to ensure that the sellers that we do on board have all the tools they need to succeed and scale and grow even more on the marketplace as well. So now it's a very exciting time to join the B&Q marketplace. So what do some of our merchants say about selling on the marketplace? So one of our sellers is called Furniture Box, as you can imagine. They sell furniture, beds, and those kinds of products. They've seen massive success since going on the marketplace. And I think for them, one of the main benefits they've seen is that they've been able to sell on the new marketplace without cannibalizing their sales on other platforms as well. They've seen the B&Q marketplace as being incremental to the sales on the other marketplace as well. So as I mentioned before, for them, B&Q has fast become one of our biggest marketplace sales channels, with revenue increasing 360% month over month from just month 2 to month 3 after launching. So I think our B&Q marketplace is a great way to obviously increase your sales without actually cannibalizing your existing sales channels from your website and other marketplaces as well. We've ever got another testimonial from another seller called Opula. So they sell a mixture of outdoor products and furniture, etc., and appliances as well. And they mentioned that through B&Q marketplace, they've seen over 10% increase in sales across the board as well. And what they mentioned that is obviously it's a very easy and seamless way to obviously integrate onto the platform using Mirakl as well. So one of the main advantages of B&Q marketplace is that we designed to make it as easy as possible for a new business to start selling with us and obviously start maximizing the traffic we have to start making sales from day one as well. So how does it work from an integration perspective? So the B&Q marketplace is currently run on a platform called Mirakl. So Mirakl is essentially an e-commerce marketplace platform provider. So it's very similar to likes of Amazon, eBay in terms of backend. So the way it works is you simply upload your products into Mirakl, and then Mirakl then feeds that data directly into DIY.com. So in terms of actually uploading products, Base is one of our recommended partners for that. So Base makes it very easy in terms of uploading the SKUs, managing the data, and I'm saving a lot of time as well. As B&Q, we prefer sellers using partners like Base because there's a real emphasis on data quality. The way it works in terms of actually ranking and making sales on the B&Q marketplace is that when you're uploading a product onto the platform, we have a mixture of mandatory attributes and non-mandatory attributes as well. So the more non-mandatory attributes you fill out, it means you appear in more search filters, which means that customers can see your products more ways, and it's a great way of making more sales. So leveraging the platform of Base to help you upload your products and manage data is a great way of make more sales and ensure that you're set up for success for selling on the marketplace as well. So how does it work in terms of growing on the marketplace and increasing your sales? So we have a variety of growth tools you can use to increase your revenue on the marketplace. The first one is our retail media solution. So we launched our sponsored products, which are basically where you can simply bid on keywords related to your product. For example, if you're selling a power tool or furniture, or things like air fryer or Hoover, you can simply bid on those keywords, and then if you win the bid, your product will then appear at the top of the search ranking as well. And it's a great way of increasing your sales conversion, making more sales, and obviously getting more traffic on your products as well. You can also participate in a variety of promotional campaigns we run throughout the year as well. We run events like Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday, Christmas, spring sale, and we had a sale recently called the You Can Do It sale. So we run a variety of promotions across the year, and you can apply to take part in these promotions. They're really great because we get a lot of traffic, and it's a great way of getting more sales, increasing the conversion, and also increasing the number of reviews on your products as well. And then you can also, run individual promotions on your products at any time throughout the year. For example, say if you launch a new product and you want to launch, say, a 10% off promotion, you can do that at any time throughout the year as well. So you have a lot of autonomy in terms of running promotions throughout the year as well. Perfect. So we've got an exciting new feature to talk about, which is coming up very, very soon. So we're now going to be launching our click and collect for marketplace products in the future. So at the moment, click and collect is only available for products that are physically available in B&Q stores. But we know that click and collect is an extremely popular option for customers. So our 2 out of 3 customers using click and collect for custom orders. So by leveraging click and collect, you can it's basically a way of getting additional advertising for your products. For example, if a customer goes to a B&Q store, picks up your product, adds it to the basket in the store, another customer can see your branding and your logo, and then search for your product on the marketplace as well. And also the way it works, you can simply deliver your product to the store, and it helps you access a new pool of customers. And for us, it's a really great way of increasing the number of products on the marketplace and getting the products to customers who want to visit B&Q stores as well. So how does it work in terms of the click and collect customer journey? So a customer can simply go onto DIY.com and then search for a product, for example, say like an air fryer or a lawnmower. They simply browse using our tools and facets and simply filter for products which are available for click and collect, and then place the order. At that point, the order will then flow through into Miracle, and the order will then identified as a click and collect order, and then the user seller will then know what B&Q store to ship the order to. The item will then arrive at a B&Q store. The customer, a B&Q staff will then scan the parcel, and that's been arrived. And at that point, the customer will then get notified that the product is available to collect in store. However, whilst collect is going to be a great tool for us, there are some guidelines in terms of item size and dimensions as well, and also to ensure that you can adhere to all the standards and in terms of customer service, etc. as well, which we're going to cover in the next slide. So in terms of the key requirements for click and collect, the items need to be under 30 kilograms in weight and to have a maximum length of 100 centimeters as well. And for these orders, we need to use the following couriers, either DPD, Royal Mail, Yodel, and Evri. So regarding click and collect, you don't have to actually add your whole range onto click and collect. You can simply choose to add a couple of your products, or even one or two. So it's not compulsory to add them all. However, you can simply pick and choose which products you want to make available for click and collect as well when the time comes. So how does it work with regards to actually selling on the marketplace? So there are some key terms that you need to adhere to if you want to sell on the B&Q marketplace. The first one is regarding our delivery process. So in this model, we offer free delivery on all items, which means you need to include the cost of delivery within your selling price. And also all items need to be delivered within 7 working days of the customer placing the order as well. We also, in line with the current B&Q customer return policy, we offer a 90-day return policy where a customer can return an item provided the item has been unopened, unused, and can be sold as new. So in such cases, you as a seller would pay for the cost of the return. In this model, you handle all customer service via Miracle. So Miracle, the platform. So the key SLA here is that all customer service inquiries need to be answered within 48 hours during Monday to Friday as well. And regarding payment terms, in this program, you get paid twice a month. So you get paid on the 1st and on the 15th of each month as well. And you need to have a UK trading entity or company. And then we charge a commission rate of between 8 to 15% plus VAT. And then also, depending on category, and also charge a monthly selling fee of £49 a month plus VAT after you've made your first sale on the platform. So there's no fixed term contract, so you can leave the marketplace at any time, provided you give us 30 days notice. You need to have a minimum of £2 million of product and public liability insurance for your business. And also, if your products contain wood and paper, these products need they need to be sourced from sustainable sources as well. So how does it work with regards to the onboarding journey? So if after seeing our terms and conditions, you're happy with them, we'll then send you a copy of those terms and conditions to sign. Once you sign them, we'll then create for you your shop with Miracle. At that point, you can then integrate Miracle via Base and obviously upload your products into the system, and then obviously start making your first sale. So we have a very dedicated onboarding team that can help you with anything regarding your shop integration, whether that's going via Base or any questions on KYC, the billing process, the returns process. So they're on hand to assist you with onboarding to ensure that you're fully set up for success and to make the most of selling on that platform as well. So regarding the onboarding time, it's actually, it can be done in a very short period of time. So ultimately, it depends on how quick you are. So after you sign the contract, you can be live in 2 to 3 days. However, the average time is around between 7 to 14 days. But ultimately, it depends on how quick you are. So the quicker you are, the quicker you can be to go live and start making sales on our platform as well. So how does it work regarding onboarding support? As I mentioned before, we have access to a variety of self-service tools. There's one called the Merchant Hub. This is a tool where you access to a variety of videos, articles regarding all things managing your shop, whether it's onboarding, the KYC process, adding offers to your products, the billing cycles, how to upload products to returns, customer service, etc. as well. And that's fully available to you online. And as I mentioned before, we have an onboarding team available to assist you with any questions that you may have as well. Great. So what additional support is there as well? As mentioned before, with access to the Merchant Hub, you also have access to an account management team who can assist you in terms of giving you advice on how to optimize your listings, how to give us more recommendations on what to do to improve your sales, how to use that retail media and other tools. And we also run a variety of webinars on a weekly basis on all things to help you optimize your products, make more sales, and to ensure that you're fully making the most of the opportunity of selling on the marketplace. So that's the B&Q marketplace in a nutshell. So we try to make it in a way that's very easy and straightforward to sell. If you use the partner like Base, it's very easy to start selling, and obviously you can start selling in a very short period of time. And obviously, Base gives you all the tools you need to be a really good partner and start selling on the marketplace as well. So yeah, that's the marketplace in a nutshell. So cheers, Pete. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Tony. So what's really interesting is there's so much support from the first moment you try and reach the B&Q team all the way through to setting up. And here, of course, it's the support beyond. We often get asked, how long does it take to onboard onto Base, and how long does it take to onboard onto a marketplace? And we have the same kind of answer. It all depends on how quickly you want to run. From our perspective, and Mark has the scars to prove this, it depends on the quality of the data that it looks like. Typically, if you have what you want to sell in good formats with all the right parameters that are good for the marketplace, of course, that's pretty quick. I think it's really interesting, again, from what you were saying, the support is there to make sure everything does fit to the right format. And again, that's something that Base can help with. Just one quick question, Tony, in terms of the marketplace categories that you run. Of course, B&Q is really well known for DIY and home improvements. What other verticals are you looking at the moment?
Yeah, maybe. So we essentially sell products that go inside of a home or garden. So I mentioned obviously the core DIY categories like power tools, like garden furniture, bathrooms, heating, plumbing, and cooling. We also have some new categories like home, like furniture, pet care, some automated products as well. We just launched recently medium domestic appliances like fridges, freezers, washing machines. But yeah, so essentially anything that we have on the DIY.com website is pretty much available for the marketplace. So anything that would go inside of a home or a garden is typically allowed to sell on the marketplace. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And I'm sure white goods has its own complexity, maybe not click and collect, but that might be a different conversation.
Yeah, definitely. So unless it's below 30 kilograms. So.
Okay, the small fridge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tony. I think, Mark, if I pass over to you then, because I think we've learnt a bit about Base, a bit about B&Q. What would be great now is to look at how do the two fit together, and what problems does it solve?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for passing over. So on my slides, I'm going to explain a bit about how we integrate B&Q into Base. It's a very simple process, and then how we essentially get your products onto B&Q, and then how you manage the orders from there. So in terms of our integration, it's a full integration. So we're able to list offers, pull in orders, forward shipping numbers, create loads of different automatic actions, and lots of different things in between. So I won't go through all this list, but happy to field any questions on the integration functionality. But in a nutshell, it's a full integration that allows you to do everything you need to on B&Q from Base. So in terms of the actual practical steps of how we integrate B&Q with Base, it's really, really simple. So we have a list of all of our marketplaces and other integrations that you can search for. So you'll see this little button on the green button on the bottom right. Simply add the integration, search for B&Q, fill in the details, and then you're integrated. So it takes literally a couple of minutes to actually have B&Q integrated into your Base account. And happy to show anyone offline if they'd like to add them to their account. In terms of what aspects of B&Q activity you can manage on Base, so we mentioned a couple of times here how important data is, to make sure your products show up in relevant searches and you're ultimately making the sales that you need to. So within Base, we store your full inventory, which within each product has all the full data that you'll need for marketplaces like B&Q. So we'll go through and make sure we have all the required data, and then we can map those pieces of data from your product information into our listing tool here. So we appreciate in the listing queue ask you to have as a seller. And as part of our implementation, we'll do some data mapping so that every time you open the listing tool for B&Q, all of these parameters will be automatically populated for you, as long as you have that data within Base. So that speeds up the process of getting onto any marketplace massively. Now, I've had countless conversations with people saying, I want to expand to this marketplace, but I just don't have the time to go through and list everything manually or with spreadsheets. So Base really speeds up that process by mapping that data across. And it's just a case of making sure these are all filled in and clicking list, and then your products go live onto B&Q. Then once you're live and you're getting loads of orders through, we can manage all of those orders. So that all of your orders from all of your marketplaces, including B&Q, will come into one central location. And from there, you have the option of either manually creating shipping labels and picking and packing lists, or making use of our sort of full suite of automations to automate that process for you. So it's a case of selecting all the products you want to manage, clicking a button, and then all of those steps like printing, picking, packing labels, printing shipping labels can all be done for you with a click of a button. And fulfillment as well. So this is an example of how you can manually select a courier service. But as I mentioned, you can also automate that process. Some of our customers like to sort of go through order by order, just to double check, or if they've got multiple different couriers with multiple different sort of rules for using them. And yeah, I think in terms of once you're on base and selling on B&Q, it's very often that you have questions or want to explore different functionality. So we have a full sort of and quite deep knowledge base within the platform where you can access articles and videos. We also have a blog that keeps you sort of updated with all of the new features, new developments within Base, and then we have two full courses called our Base Academy, sort of a beginner version and an advanced, to really help you learn the system and learn how to use it in the most efficient way. So yeah, I think, Pete, from me that covers most bases, but yeah, I'm happy to hand over.
Most bases. I see we did that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's hard to avoid these puns actually when they happen. Thank you, Mark. So again, when we talked about onboarding onto B&Q, we talked about the complexities with data. One question would be, in a best case scenario, how quickly have you seen someone onboard to Base and get selling on a platform like B&Q?
It can, if you have the required data. So one thing that Base is really useful for. So once you integrate, for example, your online store, let's say Shopify and B&Q, we can download all of your inventory straight from Shopify, let's say, that you want to push onto B&Q. And as long as all the data sets are there, the data mapping takes, anywhere from, I don't know, 20 minutes to half an hour to do, if all the data is there. And then, it's literally minutes to list. So it can be, you could technically integrate your marketplaces and your stores, import your products and list in the same day. It just depends whether you have that data available immediately or whether you need to populate it. If it's all there, you could technically do it in a day, but that would be, a very, very quick process. Certainly within a week, you could go from opening a Base account to being live on marketplaces with listings and orders coming in.
Okay, terrific. And that then aligns, I suppose, with Tony from your perspective of having all the process set up in your end. And I suppose you could try and look at both side by side.
Yeah, and exactly. I think one of the advantages of the B&Q Marketplace is that it's quite quick to join. But although it's quick, we still want sellers to have right behaviors. So ensuring that they've got really well optimized products, they can handle fulfillment, logistics is really important. So if they can leverage it like Base, it seems like a no-brainer, especially in terms of all the support you have and the fact that a lot of sellers using it already to great success too.
Yeah, I will just add as well. So the listing tool within Base is configured already for every category and every marketplace we integrate with. So we know what B&Q are looking for in terms of mandatory and optional parameters. So, it's very quick to see if there are any data gaps and to fill us in and to fill us in within your inventory list in Base.
Great. Yeah, thanks for adding that, Mark. Great point. On to Q&A. So we've got a few questions that have come in here from the audience. So how much is Base per month? Great question. So it really depends on the order volume that comes into Base from your connected channels like B&Q. We have a very much a pay-as-you-go pricing. Typically, it's around 15 pence or 15 pence per order, up to 5,000 orders per month. So that gives you a benchmark of volumes. If you go above that, we call that enterprise pricing, which tends to be just a bespoke agreement between us and Base. And again, there is no fixed thresholds to hit or long-term contract to sign up to.
One thing I'll add to that, if possible, one of the interesting parts of the pricing model for our business customers doing between 100 to 5,000 orders per month is that the pricing is dynamic. So it's as you mentioned, it's 15 pence per order. So it really accounts for the elements of seasonality. So you're not paying the same amount in your low months as you are in your peak months. So it helps sort of with cost control in those quieter months.
Yeah,
which I imagine is a key factor with some of people selling on B&Q with seasonal items.
Another question from Maisie. Thank you. How can I increase my product's visibility on B&Q? That's one for you, Tony.
Thanks, great question. So I'd say the first one is leveraging our retail media, so sponsored products, and bidding on those keywords. But before doing that, it's really having a well-optimized listing. So having really good pictures, really rich content, ensure you filled out all both the mandatory and non-mandatory attributes as well. And then once you've done that, leveraging sponsored products, taking part in promotions as well. And there's also, if you are selling on your own website and have reviews, you can also actually use, there's other tools you can use to actually kind of import some of those reviews onto the marketplace, which helps massively increasing product conversion and obviously making more sales on our platform as well.
And that goes back to your point, Trenny, in terms of those non-mandatory attributes to make sure your listings are as optimized as possible.
100%.
Hi, Kunal. Thanks for your question. Can we bring in rugged cases and smartphones popular with on-site workers?
Yes. So we have a lot of tools or products for like workers as well. So at the moment, smartphones actually isn't a category on the marketplace, but things like work safety and workwear, and like builders, etc. But like on-site phones that are used like speakers, those are kind of products that we do have available on the marketplace as well. So we're constantly looking for new categories which are relevant for the home to expand the assortment. But one thing for us, we still want to remain on brand. We just not want to end up selling things like food, alcohol and perfume. We still want products to be relevant to the DIY consumer as well.
Yeah. Okay. And might phones be a category that B&Q looks to in the future?
Sorry, say again?
Might phones, that category might be something to look at in the future?
Potentially. I mean, it's we are still looking for home-based products. The phone, yes, your phone is something that's part of the home. I'll give it up, but it's at this moment in time, it's not a category, but it could be in the future. I can't.
It could be. It could be. Great. Thank you. Another question from Kunal. So, lost or damaged items delivered to B&Q for the click and collect orders. This hopefully doesn't come up very much, but do you know anything or comment about the ownership of this?
Yeah, so on this one, it's in our terms and conditions. So it'd be we'd ask for like evidence from the courier side and your side as well. So I mean that we'd look for data, and then once it's done, we'd then make a decision on who would pay for it.
Yeah. Okay. So like case by case.
Yeah, there's an interesting bit of functionality within Base to bolt onto that. So some of our customers use when they're packaging items that are being sent out. You can actually take a picture of the items within a box, or of the box you're sending out, to sort of evidence the state at which they've left your warehouse. So that may help with that process slightly.
That is a very handy tool. So I didn't know that. So
yeah,
hopefully it helps.
Definitely.
A question from Aaron here. Once a product has been uploaded, is there a waiting time for it to be reviewed by the B&Q team?
Yep. So once we upload it, it takes typically between 24 to 48 hours for our team to review and either accept or reject the product. So in terms of like mandatory attributes, depending on what category it's in, it typically varies between around 8 to 10 mandatory attributes, and then optional attributes is around another 10 or so. But obviously, the more you fill out, the more it means you appear in more search filters. To mean the more customers are likely to find your products.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
If I can bolt onto that answer very quickly, within the listing tool within Base, there's a sort of fail-safe built in, so we can't list the products until we know they're going to be compliant with B&Q's requirements. So yeah, it would take 24 to 48 hours to be reviewed, but using the Base listing tool, there's a high degree of confidence that they'll be accepted. So hopefully it's on the lower end for people using Base.
Thank you, Mark. And one for you here again, and talked about some of those missing attributes here. What happens if the client doesn't provide that data and the attributes are missing? What's the process there?
Yeah, so it kind of bolts onto what I just said, actually. So in terms of the mandatory parameters, you have to have those to be able to list. So Base won't allow you to list onto B&Q unless you have them. So There's a couple of different avenues that our customers do in that case. Some will go away and get the product data. For example, I've seen instances where customers don't have EAN numbers, for example, for their products. So they would have to go away and get those, and then we can import them in bulk into Base so that they do hit their requirement. We also have a partner that we can recommend that help with data and data quality and optimization. So it depends on what data is missing, how much of it, and the internal capabilities of that customer as to whether they do it themselves or we help via a partner. There are some AI tools we have built into Base that help generate things like parameters depending on what the data points are. So there's a number of different ways we could tackle that problem, and it's not an uncommon one. So we're very used to it. It's more on a case-by-case basis, depending on a couple of different factors.
And each marketplace is different, of course, in terms of what data they need. And so you may find when you're, for example, exporting from Shopify into Base consolidates that data from Shopify, again, mapping to a marketplace like B&Q. You're comparing two very different platforms in terms of what data might be necessary. So typically, again, someone might come to Base with one set of data, and there'll be attributes that are missing for the next marketplace. So again, it's a very common type of scenario for us.
Yeah, and one of the useful things with Base with that data mapping is it doesn't matter what that attribute or parameter is called; it's the value that is mapped. So, for example, I've seen some marketplaces with the attribute color spelled in the American way and some spelled in the English way, with or without the U. And if either way that you have that spelling, we can still map it to multiple places. So it kind of, if the data is there, we can map it. It's just if it's not there, we need to create it.
Yeah, and being flexible. Yeah. A question from Kunal here: is 90 days return the standard for all products, Tierney?
Yes, it's all products. Yeah.
Okay, that's the quickest question of the day. Generally speaking, Tierney, and we talked about B&Q as the marketplace that sits alongside others. From your perspective, when you're talking to sellers who want to join, is there and the answer is going to be no, but what's a typical seller look like in terms of where are they already selling, or is B&Q their only marketplace that they want to sell on, as well as their own .com, so D2C or B2B site, or do you find they're already selling on a few marketplaces already?
Yes, we typically find that most sellers who want to sell on B&Q have their own website and are selling on a mixture of other marketplaces in the UK, but they're looking to join B&Q to kind of benefit more from our traffic because we have a very curated range of products. So we actually are a closed marketplace in the sense that you actually have to apply to join or be approached. So not everyone who applies does get accepted. So for us, we obviously vet our application quite heavily to ensure that that each company would be a good fit, and also people that are going to be running the business, aligned with our values in terms of a great customer service, fast delivery, and obviously having good products as well.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. A question from Aaron: can two sellers sell the same product, or is it one seller allowed, and is it based off first come, first served, or price, or what's the sort of the algorithm for that buy box?
Yeah, sure. So we operate on an EAN basis. So two sellers can sell the same product, has the same EAN. You're going to go to kind of default to a buy box method essentially. So who wins the buy box, a mixture of things like seller ratings, reviews, delivery speed, and price, etc. as well. But then if you're a brand owner, there's an element of protection you can have about who sells your product on the marketplace as well.
Okay, terrific. And I suppose the more densely populated the categories are with sellers selling the same product, that becomes a bit more competitive.
Yeah, no, of course. So we also looking to increase the number of products in relevant categories. We don't want to just be like a market bazaar. We want to obviously have like products that customers want to buy, not just have just random products that are just like taking up inventory or space on the site. Yeah. So it's quality over quantity. When you're looking at new products and new sellers, you might have sort of gone into this in some details, but in terms of who you're looking for, I know Click and Collect, you have to have a UK VAT number.
Is that the same across the board for all sellers, or are you looking at sellers outside of the UK to be able to join as well?
Yeah, so we require all companies to have a UK limited company, a UK VAT number, and a UK returns address. So at the moment, we're focusing mainly on the UK. So there is potential in the future to expand more into other countries, but the UK is the main focus in terms of UK businesses at the moment. Yeah. Okay. As we kind of expand and grow, there may be more looking into potentially other countries.
Okay, and for those who might be watching today or listening post recording, if you're an EU country or rest of the world and looking to set up in the UK, of course, we can help recommend good partners who can help create that VAT and entity for you in the UK. To any sort of looking further down the line, obviously you've been at B&Q for a number of years now and see great change. What do you foresee as the next horizon, if you like? Is it more categories? Tell us about what's going to happen in the next sort of 6+ months.
Yeah, sure. So I think, as mentioned before, so we're owned by the Kingfisher Group. So we've seen a really, massive expansion in e-commerce, especially in B&Q and the group. So there's been investing more into marketplaces, into more tools. So we're listening more to sellers, and sellers tell us they want to have more growth tools to help them grow more, expand, and to improve your operations. So more tools are coming in that space. So the first one, obviously, Click and Collect is going to be the first massive growth lever in terms of sellers. We think that's going to be a massive way to increase sales. And we're looking to improve more tools like sponsored products, add in more features and tools there. And also, more additional tools to help sellers grow. So there's going to be a lot more coming in the next 6-12 months. So watch the space. We'll be posting on our LinkedIn and other tools. I think especially for us, anything that's happening, we'll do emails via Base and as well, and partnerships posts and announcements. But there's a lot more coming in, especially from marketing and growth tools perspective as well.
Very exciting, and it's a great time to be able to join B&Q as a channel. Obviously, with peak not far around the corner. I know we're just in July, but it will come quickly. I would expect there'll be many dads looking forward to their power tools at Christmas, etc. So a great time to be able to onboard now and take advantage of that. There's one question I had which I forgot to ask previously in terms of obviously B&Q as a brick and mortar business, selling products, their own products, or buying stock and reselling it. How does that work with the marketplace model as well? Does that sort of compete or contrast with each other in any shape or form, or is the marketplace only for sellers?
No, we see it as like complementary. So the way it works is if B&Q are selling a product themselves via first party business, we don't allow the marketplace products to marketplace to sell that same product. So B&Q isn't competing with sellers. So compared to like other marketplace models where the company is competing with sellers, that's not the case with B&Q. So very pretty much a separation in terms of the business in that sense. So for us, we're seeing, we have these new categories, there are product gaps here. Marketplaces can help us fill those categories, and they can help grow those categories as well. And we see this way the marketplace drives more traffic into stores, and we see it as helping both parts of the business as well. So we see our sellers as partners to us in helping us grow and scale.
Okay, so yes, there's no competition there between who you're trying to compete with B&Q as a brand. It's just one umbrella that contains your own products or products you're selling as well as marketplaces. So everybody sort of feeds off the same traffic.
It's kind of like you have your patch, we have our patch. It's kind of like that.
Great. Well, thank you, guys. Are there any more questions from the floor? We will share the slides and the recording for those who couldn't make it. There are a few links here, which again I'll share in the chat here for those who'd like to be able to come and sign up to Base, but also those who'd like to learn more about the way our integration works. Equally, to sign up to B&Q, there's a link there on the screen, and we'll share these slides to get in touch with Tireni and the team to learn about how we can get you started with B&Q. For us at Base, again, there's a free promotion at the moment where if you sign up as a B&Q user, you can get your first month for free with this code. Again, we'll share all the information afterwards. Mark, Tireni, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you've had a good session today with us, and as a team, and those listening and attending, hope you've picked up a few bits and are excited to join B&Q. Thanks for joining, and look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks,
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.